good morning, and hey now, PASW, staff, clients, and friends joining us for a lovely Wednesday. Let's make it a great Wednesday today, right? Yesterday we looked at the very iconic Moondog and the artist, the American classical blind composer that really did all those wonderful jazz and classical works together. And then your film scoring assignment before, Harry Potter, which those are in. It's looking really good, gotta say it. And we'll see the results on Friday for that. So today we're going to look at somebody, you've probably been thinking this, and I know you've been going to bed every night thinking, is he ever going to talk about somebody who's alive? You know, because mostly just talking about dead guys. And the answer is yes, I am. Today we're going to be talking about somebody who's only 50, young. Hard to categorize this artist, but he's definitely an artist, and today we're going to be talking about the great Beck. Beck Hansen. He was born Beck, B-E-K, David Campbell. His dad is Campbell, but then like Cher and Sting and Woody, all these people with one names, Beck is known as, you know, this amazing American singer, songwriter, producer, known for his experimental and lo-fi style. We're going to get into those words later, and has created musical collages of all these different genres sounding. The conundrum back then, at least, and still now, is he blended folk with hip hop. And if you don't know his music, we're going to be listening and looking at this interesting, quirky, eclectic musician. We should get over there. Let's get to Silver Lake, because he grows up different places in around Los Angeles, but mostly he starts doing his music thing in Silver Lake. So let's go over there. Born 1970, so he's 50, and his dad was a Canadian arranger, composer, and conductor, and his mom was a visual artist, part of the Andy Warhol scene in New York. So, beatniks, and kind of grew up in Koreatown, Hollywood, and didn't really pick up the instrument until he was about 16 years old, and didn't go to high school at all. After junior high, he was done. He took odd jobs as a leaf blower, which actually he does in one of his videos, and worked at a video store, and was really interested in folk music and trying to get gigs at coffee houses and Spaceland in Silver Lake, playing there. And it was around 93, so when he kind of has his first hit, and this was a huge song, and in 94 it officially comes out, and that's the song Loser. Losers took 6 hours to write and record for about $350, and it really catapulted him to huge fame, which he was uncomfortable with. I think still is. It's an interesting song. It got radio play very quickly and suddenly, like it was on MTV and all of these things. And 94 is a great year for music. I mean, just to give you an example, Soundgarden comes out with Black Hole Sun. The Cranberries come out with Zombie. Weezer comes out with their famous album with Buddy Holly and Say It Ain't So. Green Day comes out with Basket Case. Seal comes out with Kiss from a Rose. Notorious B.I.G. is Big Papa. The Offspring comes out with Come Out and Play. This is just the year 94, and then Beck comes out with Loser. This song didn't sound anything like what was going on And again, people didn't know what to do with this kind of folk slide guitar with these hip-hop type lyrics. It's very hard to classify, and I think this is what Beck likes about it. It's just music. It's very hard to classify music. We hear a lot of samples and all of these things that we hear in music today all of the time. In the 90s, these kind of overdubbing samples weren't really used that much. You know, you were either a rock band, heavy metal band, hip-hop artist. He's really taking from all genres and just coming up with his own sound, especially 2 years later in 96 when he comes out with the album Odelay. Odelay, we're hearing jazz, rock, blues, folk, hip-hop. It was an album everyone was scared, even Beck was scared to release because it was really hard to classify, and it still is hard. I mean, there's cutting and pasting and layering and all of these things that no music was sounding like this. I mean, most importantly, it swung. Just like Duke Ellington said, if it swings, it's fine. So most importantly, they were very catchy. The lyrics were ironic and absurd and surreal, but it had a great beat and great feel. This was alternative music, but it was indie music, and it was personal music. Beck played most of the instruments on the album and does continue to do that, and was really good at layering all of these different samples together with, you hear psychedelic, you hear electronic, there's Latin influence. One of the things I love about his Wedo album is that it incorporates a lot of what he used to listen to on the bus in downtown Los Angeles and in Hollywood and in places, the east part of Los Angeles, which is, now it's trendy, but in the 90s, and before then, Silver Lake, East Hollywood, it was not a cool place. I mean, it was cool, but it was funky cool. It was not a hip place, really. But Beck took a lot of these sounds of street vendors, of people selling food, of people on the bus, just like Moondog did with, sounds of New York in his music. Beck would do this with sounds of East Hollywood, of Silver Lake, of schools around him, school bells, and people selling tamales on the street. It was just, it was all incorporated into his art.
Vegetable man in the vegetable van with the horn that's honking like a mariachi band. In the middle of the street, people gather around. Put the dollar in the can. I wait, on the TJ Cowboys hang around. Sleeping in the sidewalk with a Burger King crown. Never wake them up. Más cerveza to the rooster crows. Vatos vergallos.
I don't think he was ever really at a loss of, he was very true to what he wanted to articulate, and that was an image of what music could be in his mind, because as we're seeing with the music videos, it's surreal, it's interesting, it's different, it's his voice, he's got a great low voice, it's just, and he's collaborated with many great artists, but I kind of wanted to just share some of my favorite things that Beck has done, and he continues to, he's come out with over 14 albums, and continues to just be super hip and relevant and interesting with all of his sounds that he comes up with.
Where's that? I got two turntables and a microphone. Where's that? I got two turntables and a microphone.
So that's Beck Hansen, the musician and the artist. So hope you enjoyed that. I think he's a lot of fun, and where it's at is just where it's at. It's such a great tune. So that's what got me into him in the first place. So, okay, tomorrow we'll be doing something else. So have a great rest of the day. Love you and miss you. And yeah, see you tomorrow.